Those ate my sweet potatoes. It didn't take long for me to immediately regret trying to use the pitchfork. I was too paranoid to keep using it because I thought that I was going to fork one of the sweet potatoes. I ended up switching over to digging by hand or forking with smaller hand tools. Honestly, I didn't even know that was the least of my worries. I pulled a lot of the vines out by hand, and I slowly tried to pull out any sweet potatoes I could find as I found them. I brushed them off lightly, but I didn't rinse them. I was going to leave the soil on them so that they can cure with the soil around them. I'm told that's the better way to do it. As I was pulling these sweet potatoes out, I was getting a little excited, but my optimism faded pretty quickly. As I kind of brushed my hands over a lot of these, I started to notice little indents all over them. And then I knew immediately that we had a problem. There was definitely some bug damage, and I was really hopeful that it was just going to be maybe one or two. But the more and more I dug, it kept getting worse. I did learn a couple of things, though. The sweet potatoes really only formed those tubers right around where the slips were. And I had tried a couple of times to take sort of these runs from the vines and plant them or cover them up with some soil, almost like air layering, but it didn't really work out that well. The tubers that formed from the little air layered slips really they were small, they weren't worth even keeping. It just looked like really thick roots. I think where I messed up there was that I left the vines connected to the mother slips, to the original slips. Instead, what I probably should have done was cut those vines as soon as they started to root. They didn't need the mother slip anymore, and I think they would have gone off on their own and created larger tubers as independent plants. Instead, it just seemed like they sort of kept feeding the original slips, and so I got a handful of really large sweet potatoes, but unfortunately they were damaged. I'm still not sure exactly what happened, where things went wrong. I'm still trying to figure that one out. If you have any suggestions, please do leave a comment down below. But I'm pretty sure that this must have happened because of the soil that it was in. It was very, very rich, very organic soil, very heavily organic soil. And I think that maybe it was too much organic material. So much, in fact, that I found some pill bugs in there, and actually I found some traces of termites in the raised bed. Although I've never really had issues with termites eating sweet potatoes, but I don't know about pill bugs. I have a feeling that they probably would take a bite out of some sweet potatoes if they had the chance. And so I might have done this to myself. I may have to reconsider the composition of those raised beds. I may actually till some of that organic matter to mix it in a little better with the clay soil below. I feel like I might get a slightly better composition of soil and hopefully reduce the chances of this happening again. I must say, though, if I could have gotten a full harvest, I think it would have been fantastic. The slips that I made from these, I'm trying to remember if I made a video about it, but I did not make a lot of slips. I made a handful of slips from one small sweet potato that I purchased. It was one organic sweet potato, and from that one sweet potato I made a handful of slips that then produced a significant amount of sweet potatoes. I mean, I'm betting that if I could have actually used the full harvest, there's probably easily 20 pounds from a less than 1 pound potato. And I'd say that would have been a win. But right now, as it stands, I don't know how much of this I'll be able to keep. I'm not really feeling too happy right now with this harvest, which is unfortunate. But there are lessons learned. I just need to figure out what the lesson is and do better next year. Overall, I would say I'm pretty convinced that it may have been the pill bugs. It's possible that the soil wasn't fully decomposed, or maybe just the such high amount of organic matter just invited too many insects, which seems odd. You would think that that's a good thing, but I guess in this particular case, when you're dealing with root vegetables, you do run that risk of getting damage to those roots. And if the root is what you're eating, then you are competing against whatever lives in the soil, and they usually get first chance at it. It's been a real roller coaster with these sweet potatoes. I was so happy to see those vines growing, and then they were gone. The deer ate them. And then they started growing back, and then the deer came back, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to pull these things. I don't want anything to happen to them. Lo and behold, something was happening to them under the ground. They were getting chewed up. I don't know how bad it is. I don't even know if they're safe to eat anymore, but a lot of them look pretty bad. Some of them only look kind of bad. Not a whole lot of them look very good at all. I would say it was almost a complete loss. We'll try again next summer, and we'll do better. We will. We'll see. Anyways, I know that's not the cheery ending that I usually try to end with, but I gotta say, after a month of effort, or after an entire season, growing season of effort to come up with nothing, that this is a hard pill to swallow. So if you got any suggestions on growing sweet potatoes successfully, I have in the past. I just didn't do it this year. This is the first time I've grown on this property, and I'm sure that there are new challenges here that I did not have at my previous home. So if you have any suggestions, please do comment below. Let me know your thoughts, your tips and tricks on growing organic sweet potatoes with minimal pest pressure on them. And until then, until we get to try this again, you guys be good to each other, and I'll see you on the next one. And it's been a roller coaster. I was really happy to see. It's been a roller coaster. I was really happy to see well, sugar pie honey bun. Those peas and carrots ate my sweet potatoes. You didn't think I was actually going to say it, did you?